People do business with people that they know and that they trust. That was one of the first lessons I learned in business. You can't just be transactional. You got to cultivate, develop, and build relationships that will last you over a sustained period to help you achieve your business goals. Welcome to our sponsor mini-series. This mini-series is designed to give you a deeper insight into 4 categories: workforce development, technology, risk management and insurance, and third-party administration. You're going to get an insight into the people and the products that's bringing the value to your business. Now, if you're like me, one thing I hate is to be sold something. It just doesn't feel right. Just give me the real answers. I'm going to ask the tough questions. Show me what you can do and what you can't do, and I'll make my own informed decision. And sometimes we'll find out if the solution doesn't work for you, but we're going to go deep. And if you find this interesting or you want to learn more, check out our sponsors in deeper detail. Go to their websites. But when you call them, make sure you use that L12 discount code because, they're giving you free money. You might as well use it. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the mini-series. I'm Jason Burns, your host on The Last of First, and I'm excited for you to learn, uncover, and discover what can work best on your Last to First journey.
This is David Douglas, CEO of ADLINC, and you're watching the Last to First podcast.
Welcome back. We're back on our second part of the mini-series on workforce, and we have ADLINC, who's our sponsor. We have David Douglas with us. And this episode is we're going to dig deeper into what happens once you decide to take on a remote assistant, a logistics assistant who is not in your office, in your physical infrastructure, and so how you get comfortable with that. So, Dave, welcome back to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me again, Jason.
All right, so Dave, so we want to dig into what happens once I decide to move forward and to partner with ADLINC. So, am I involved in selecting the talent, training the talent? Like, what do I need to be thinking about? What's going to occupy my time or my resources?
So yes, good question, Jason. So really, our success, your success is our success is yours, right? So we are really here to partner with our clients. So number one, understanding their needs, right? That's step number one. And then we go off and find that talent. And the right talent, it's going to be the talent that matches your culture, that will fit your organization and the requirements of what you're looking for. What is that pressure point for you? As I had mentioned in earlier section, is that we go and we look for folks with a foundational logistics experience. So they're graduating from a logistics program, and that's where we start. And then we work with you to really understand what your requirements are. You can be as involved as you want or not, right? Okay. So you can say, hey, ADLINC, I want to be involved in the interviews.
Okay.
I want to handpick my persons.
Yeah.
Or you can say, ADLINC, this is what I want. You guys can walk through the process. I will train the trainer, but it's really you're onboarding your own team member. That person is going to be dedicated to you.
Okay.
All right. So it's like you're bringing on a new employee, just that we house them. We take care of all the HR stuff. But for the technical, your protocols, your specific processes, we're going to look to you to either train the trainer, one of our supervisors to train them, or train the employee directly.
Great point, because again, I reference my experience with the VA now. There's a supervisor involved, but to be honest with you, I question what they're really supervising. In this case, the trainer-trainer approach, where I think what stuck out to me was I can take my information, pass along to a supervisor who's going to then be able to keep training individuals going forward. So, yeah, I may make an investment on the front end to make sure that the job specs and we train it, because in our world, every customer has a different SOP and how we operate. And then ADLINC can take it from there. And so now I'm truly looking at it as an extension of my business, right?
Absolutely.
What about in that training process? How do you actually, this is the hardest part about our business, that customization piece. It takes a while. Like, even in my world, our dispatcher was one of my dad's childhood friends. Right? He had been in this company 30 years. The institutional knowledge he had, it's hard to automate that. We let alone replace it.
Right.
And you know this from operating your business.
Right.
How long does it take someone to become proficient at the system and also the customer side? And what are you doing there to help bridge that gap?
Right. So it's that's going to vary based on how busy you are. The more they have hands-on is the faster, easier they go up that learning curve. But let me give you an example, right? So we had a client that came in and they were just struggling with their recruiting process, as an example. And I know we're talking about dispatching and all that, but just to show the versatility of ADLINC, right? This client came in and wearing the many hats. Everyone in their organization was involved in recruiting. Somebody's taking a little piece of it, right? And as we all know in the business, right, you need 3 drivers. You interview an unlimited number, right? Yeah. You probably onboard 9, right? And then 3 probably stay, but somebody has to go through all that vetting process. Yeah. Somebody has to post, so on. So ADLINC took on that challenge, process mapped the client's current process, apply some kind of a structure and automation to it, and now ADLINC is handling that process completely for the client, right? We know there's a key part in that process where the client needs to see, touch, smell the driver, right? But so what happens now in that process after the posting, the first meeting, the client actually gets to meet the driver during the vehicle inspection and so on. So they have that first-hand approach with the driver.
So initial virtual screening? So
it's a virtual screening with the ADLINC person on the screen, just like you're doing a Teams meeting. Yeah. And all the faces, they can do a one-on-one, they can do a one-on-5. The ones that are interested from that screening goes on to the vehicle inspection where they're coming and meet the folks at the client. Once the client gives the thumbs up that this candidate is good to go, then ADLINC continues with the process, going on to scheduling all of the drug screening, so on and so forth. And then once that is all complete, they actually do the onboarding, which is another training. So, it's just an example how this one process was drawing bandwidth down away from actually focusing on the deliveries, right? Yeah. And now ADLINC was able to take on that process, giving the client all that bandwidth back.
That's huge, and it's making me think about I wish I had ADLINC when I was running QCS, because the way my dad trained me on hiring drivers, you don't hire anybody unless you put your eyes on them.
Exactly.
And you think about what's happening in the world today, gig rich world, everyone's got another, odd job or, doing a Uber Eats or, DoorDash or whatever. And there's not, the FaceTime and that interview process doesn't occur there. But in our world, because of what we do, sometimes life critical deliveries.
Exactly.
You got to know who that person is. This is not just going to drop off someone's hamburger. They ordered, 12 o'clock at night. This is someone's blood. Exactly. If it doesn't get there in an hour, life could be lost.
Exactly.
So the fact that your team's able to keep that in place while still being remote is a huge advantage in your solution. All right, but let's talk about the downside maybe. So let's say I'm the new customer. We're 9 months in. I've been having great experience with my logistics assistant.
Coordinator. Okay.
My logistics coordinator. But in the last few weeks, something's not right. They're not as responsive. I'm getting a couple customer complaints. Am I managing them out? If I have to get to a point I want to change somebody, can we improve it? Who's involved in that? So I get a customer call and says, hey, I didn't like that experience I had with this employee. They don't know who it is, but it's an ADLINC representative. What do I do?
So, that's the easy part, right? The easy part meaning that if there's an issue, that remember now that they're your team member, right? And they're representing you. You don't have a separate company, so as to speak, representing you. But if there's an issue, you would let ADLINC know, let us know that, hey, it's not working out. And we would take care. We would find a replacement. We would go through that process seamlessly for you.
Excellent. So Dave, I'm loving what I'm hearing about the solutions. They're customizable. I have the ability to kind of influence the onboarding side, but then get comfortable enough to really get the peace of mind of saying, ADLINC kind of take care of this soup to nuts for me. If there's an issue, you guys will help resolve that. Give me another example of where you feel you really created value for a client that came to you with a problematic situation.
Absolutely. So one client came to mind, and it's regarding their overnight support. They had the one driver, Great driver, been with them for years. This driver was handling the phones, doing the deliveries and so on. In this client's case, though, they did want to grow their overnight, but it was very difficult. They had opportunities with 3PLs who do a lot of email alerts and things like that, and there was no way that this one driver could keep up watching their emails and also handling the phones and doing the deliveries at the same time. So ADLINC took that opportunity, and now overnight support is the overnight business is a major part of this client revenue stream, right? Because now you have an ADLINC agent looking at the email alerts, ensuring that the orders are coming through or loading them into the TMS, coordinating and dispatching the driver, and now it's 24/7 live support. That's the capability that ADLINC was able to give to this client.
So we'll wrap up there on the second part of the mini-series. Hope you got a lot of insights there on, really the value that ADLINC can create for your business. We're going to come back in the last episode of the mini-series here, and based on my experience and some other things I've heard in the industry with other solutions out there, I'm going to see how ADLINC stacks up against that. So check that out. Don't miss it. Episode 3 is coming up. Last of First podcast. Dave, thanks for being there.
Thank you.
All right.